Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
We hope everybody is having a great day.
Indeed, we do.
Absolutely. And, this is something that the guides wanted us to get across to you guys for the eclipse, but you could use it at any time. And, we are in real challenging times, as you can obviously see around you.
I know, and the information on the eclipse and what we should do while the eclipse is going, or, we should at least do this once the day of the eclipse, is to bring ourselves a type of protection, a type of energy that is going to help diffuse whatever that trigger is that's going to happen. This is going to bring changes. It might not happen that very day, that very moment, but I do feel strongly, looking at the astrological alignments, that this is definitely going to just be more of an uptick in energy that we have already been seeing, that's been so concerning lately. And what do eclipses do? Eclipses to me are something of a programming nature. They take, when they work on computers, and if they're going to make some changes in programmings, usually they have to take that computer, they take that network down, they put in the changes, and they bring it back up. And I look at this as very much like the same thing that's going to be happening. The darkness is going to cover over. During that darkness, there is going to be triggers, there's going to be frequencies, there's going to be things that are let loose in the atmosphere that is going to trigger and continue a lot of happenings that we've been seeing on the news. That's just going to be more. And I do believe there's an effort to take our light, and, make our circumstances less than ideal. So the guides were telling me to have people be able to diffuse or neutralize or get this information across, so that one can be putting out there a protective frequency around not only yourself, but yourself, your family, your home, your neighborhood, your town. And it's actually going to be pushing back on a lot of that darkness and bring a form of balance. And they wanted us to get this meditation out. So I'm sure Mike has a few things to say about the eclipse, and then we will get started. I want you guys to find a comfortable position on the couch, on the chair, sitting at the kitchen table, wherever, standing, looking out somewhere that's really nice. We're going to be patterning and running energy. So this is going to be a silent meditation, probably is going to last about 2 minutes. I do feel that most of you are going to feel it, but what I want you to visualize during this meditation is the white light. And I want you to visualize that white light is surrounding you, yet it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's pushing out the darkness, and it is protecting your particular area. So this is what this is for today. But I want you to know, if this really makes you feel good, you can use it any time that you need the energy to shift or change, or you need yourself to feel better.
Absolutely. And Cindy was just coming with, well, why white light? Well, because pushing back against the darkness. It's part of that duality. So what's happening with the eclipse? The eclipse is, it's covering the sun for those that are under its sway. And solar eclipses have caused fear, inspired curiosity, been associated with myths, legends, superstitions throughout history. Even today, an eclipse of the sun is considered a bad omen in many cultures. And when we've talked about, well, the fact is the moon was brought and put in place after the Younger Dryas, or perhaps even during the Younger Dryas event, which ended up wiping out so much of the life on planet Earth. And the fact that the Earth has a 23.5 degree tilt, that tilt is being kind of kept in place, I believe, by the moon itself. There's so many legends about souls going to the moon after death, per se, in many cultures as well. As we've talked about the dark control system, which is obviously an effect, and I know you guys all understand that. So we combat the darkness with light. And you see this depiction there. In Hindu mythology, Rahu is known for swallowing the sun and causing eclipses.
Yes, Rahu can be very, very problematic. And we can learn a lot out of our natal chart in Vedic astrology just by knowing where is your Rahu? Where are you going to have troubles in life? What is your passion? What is that thing that you're going to want so badly that you might actually be willing to cheat or break some rules? And that's what makes Rahu so difficult. But yeah, this is an energy that's going to be brief, but I think it's going to put into play a lot of things.
And Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology are the two nodes of the moon. And with the moon itself, again, we were talking about how it is put in place by the dark control grid. And so that makes sense because Rahu and Ketu are basically, it's a demonic energy. Rahu is the head, Ketu is the tail, the body, the tail. And yeah, when you think about it, and they have their own significances, as Rahu is always about I want, lust, desires, cravings, those things that are very, very, very driving, the driving emotions and all. And then K2 is kind of been there, done that. So it is really interesting to see that correlation with the understanding that the moon itself was put in place by these controllers that we've spoken about so very often. So the white light of protection, you could envision it around yourself. You could envision it around your house, your property, your town, your city, your state, your nation. Envision it around the entirety of the globe, depending on your intent at that particular time. But you could absolutely use this at any time. In Wicca, in pagan circles, it's common to go ahead and make a cleansed area using the elements, earth, air, water, and fire. And you could do it in many ways. You could use incense with salt and with water and with a candle to mimic the different elements and walk from the east to the north, to the west, to the south, again in a circular pattern. There's all different traditions out there. It's done in different ways. We do find so many cultures around the globe use fire or some sort of incense, and there is a natural cleansing effect, especially when we're using things like sage.
Sage is very, very important when it comes to cleansing. Sage is actually almost like a disinfectant. It definitely clears out the little bacterias and the little microbes that are in the air and pushes those out, along with naughty entities that are hanging around that really shouldn't. And if you're one that's really sensitive and you just want to test it, you can always burn a little bit of sage if you're feeling a little bit uptight, or if a family member is having trouble in the nearby area, burn that sage and then just feel the energy and how many times it is going to release the pressure that might be in the atmosphere. But I don't want to make this super complicated. I want people to be able to sit down and do it and understand that it is going to hold. This is something that's going to hold all day long. It's something that once you do it, it's going to stay in your atmosphere. It will fade out over time. But while the eclipse is happening or before it happens, I would say this would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, again, from the Golden Dawn tradition, there is the tradition of calling on the archangels, because ultimately the archangels are kind of representations of the archetypal forces of nature when you get down to it. So the elemental kingdoms, when we are talking about the four elements, these are the beings that are of the archetype of those energies, and literally are in some ways in rulership over those energies. So if you are comfortable with it, you can, definitely invoke the archangels into play. And we've talked about, again, how, and not to go too deep, but I want to give you guys a little background. Again, if you go into the Bible, you will see there's references to quote unquote God as El, and you may have noted amongst Elohim and also Yahweh, very different energy between El and Yahweh. Very, very different energy. You notice that most of the archangels have names that end in El. So this is kind of denoting the natural order of things. And when Cindy sees the what is depicted as the Canaanite storm god El, she gets the feeling of a cloud. And again, an energy, a consciousness in a cloud. It's a natural part of the system, as are the archangels, some of the architects, you could say, of the system, of the natural system, not the dark system, which has worked to supplant it. So if you feel so inclined, you can call the archangel energies into your circle. If you don't feel so inclined, then don't do it. And you don't have to call anything in except for just, whatever feels good. Light and love, the Great Spirit and the Great Mother, whatever terms feel good to you. And if it's just calling for the pure white light of Source, that's perfectly fine as well.
Mm-hmm. So stand by. We're going to be doing some energy work here together. I'll be using my energy at the tuning forks. Mike's going to be using his energy, and I'm going to use my weighted tuning forks. And what that does, it's going to bring the pattern of perfection all around you, and then we're going to push this pattern out all around yourself and your area. We're going to do this for about 2 minutes. Okay, I want you guys to take some deep breaths and realize that you've just been patterned to perfection with the tuning forks, the weighted tuning forks. They make the golden ratio. So now this energy is all around you. It also connects you to higher self, and it protects your area. So please use this before the eclipse. Anytime you might need to feel better. I'm sure many of you felt the energy. It's very cleansing, and it usually brings about a certain amount of clarity and just makes you feel better.
Absolutely. And if you want to use the very, very simple mantra, Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. And that's again the sound of the universe and invoking peace. And you could even just do Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May earth be in peace. May we all have peace. Something so simple as that. And just repeat that in your mind.
So we hope it helps, and have a wonderful, blessed day.
Again, guys, thanks for your support over on Patreon and Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you. Namaste.
Namaste.